TSM has signed an Overwatch team, and here's why that matters. So, basically, a couple days ago, TSM announced that they are signing an Overwatch roster. This roster is actually formerly Timeless. Timeless has been like a tier 2 organization. They just played in the OWCS. They actually underperformed a little bit and didn't make it to the tournament of the last stage, and also they won't be making it to the LAN that's happening at DreamHack Dallas. But TSM has announced that they are actually signing this team, consisting of Chopper, Rocket, and many more. Mateball, I forgot that Mateball's on this roster. Jumping in real quick here in the editing room, I actually decided to look this up. I'm about to talk about how much TSM has been involved in the Overwatch League, or Overwatch in general, and I did claim that I don't think they had been involved at all. That is not technically true. Back when they were still Solo Mid, TSM's former name, that's where the T, S, and M come from, they did acquire a roster, Code 7, that had a couple players that you may know, Harblue being the big one. He used to be this big Overwatch streamer. I don't think he streams as much anymore. And a couple of people that went on to go in the Overwatch League. They only had this roster for about a month before they were re-signed by another org, Complexity Gaming, right here. And then they decided, TSM tried to build another roster. You can see, I'm pretty sure that would be this one, but they didn't get enough players. It didn't really materialize. I can see this is actually Ajax. Ajax himself on that roster, I think. And then TSM decided to completely leave Overwatch because of the high franchise cost that I would assume was because of the Overwatch League, right? So basically, TSM technically does have ties to Overwatch, but they didn't quite materialize. In fact, it sounds like even when they had that roster for a month, they actually never played in the Overwatch Open qualifiers. So basically, it is technically not true that TSM has not been involved in Overwatch before, but they really haven't. So I just wanted to clear that up and give you a little bit more background behind TSM's Overwatch involvement. Okay, jumping in again one more time. It's taken me a while to get this video out, and since it's taken so long, now Fnatic have also put their hat in the ring. They announced this today when I am filming this second update. That's all they've said. It's just coming soon, and they've got their little sponsors under there. And it's just Fnatic and Overwatch. We have no idea, obviously we don't know anything about the orgs, but I would bet that this probably had something to do with TSM coming in, or at least the way they're coming in for the same reason, right? Either TSM influenced this, or the reason why TSM is coming in is also the reason why Fnatic is coming in. Maybe the buy-in is really cheap, and these players are really cheap, and if you win, it's a lot of reward, and if you don't, then who cares? But yes, this is really exciting. I want you to keep this in mind as you watch this video, because I think a lot of the things I talk about is like how Overwatch Esports is going to grow. TSM being a stepping stone. Fnatic might be the next step, or they may be part of the foundation with TSM. So yeah, quick update. Sorry about this. I'll let you get back to the video. The reason why this is such a big deal is because TSM have had nothing to do with Overwatch. I think mainly since Overwatch has existed. They have not had an Overwatch League team. They were not one of those orgs that were involved in it. They weren't involved in the early days, But TSM is a very, very, very well-known organization. And I think that's a really big thing to talk about, because when Owl went away, there was, basically a lot of talk about like, okay, now it's going to be based on organizations and players rather than these franchises, right? There were plenty of esports organizations like Cloud9 and NRG, right? They owned Overwatch League teams, but you might not have ever even known that because they're hidden behind the Owl franchise, London Spitfire and San Francisco Shock, respectively, right? So when we swap away from Owl and the franchise model, and it now just becomes down to like the organizations, now teams can market themselves And the Overwatch League can indirectly market it, or OWCS can indirectly market itself through these organizations, right? That already have fans and all these big like built-in systems and infrastructure for esports, right? And OWCS so far, some of the old Owl teams kind of came together and made teams. A lot of the tier 2 teams that already existed for Overwatch came up and they signed players. TSM is the first instance of a really major organization putting their hat in the ring and their branding in the ring in Overwatch. And honestly, this is pretty surprising because TSM have been, not doing so hot. They've lost a couple of creators recently. I think within the last year they had to give up their spot in the league, the big league series or whatever. They had to give it up to like Shopify or something. But TSM are a really big organization, right? Let's look at another bigger organization here. So this is M80. They're one of the big, what's it called? Overwatch ones. They've M80 just got second in the OWCS tournament that just happened, or was it third? No, I think it was second. It was second. But take a quick look here. They have 80K followers on Twitter, right? Obviously, Twitter metrics aren't like the best thing ever, but it's like this is their big social media presence. This is how many people know of them. All yada yada yada, right? Look at TSM. TSM have 2.1 million. This is a big deal. This is massive. This is going to be a lot more, not just, eyes looking at the Overwatch League or OWCS, but it's also like more money potentially being funneled in. Basically, if TSM are really here to stay, they haven't signed a very expensive roster, but if they do like the infrastructure, they think there's a future here, they could be the big spenders, right? To basically put the Overwatch League on the map, right? It's like, TSM won OWCS. Like, oh my God, like, I love TSM. Maybe I'll watch some Overwatch just because I like the org. This is the big thing that you got to understand about, like, this model change. Is again, like, the marketing of these other organizations doing the work for Overwatch. Getting people into Overwatch who wouldn't necessarily care otherwise, right? I know about TSM. I like a couple TSM players. I love Leffen. I love Smash, right? But that's big, right? Like, I know TSM and I'm like, I will probably just in the back of my mind be rooting for TSM when I watch these events now. Just because I know this organization, they're good. And they have big sponsors. And it's also, not to say that esports is very stable right now, because it definitely isn't. But bigger organizations like this make the esport healthier. They make it better for the players. There's more, security, at least in theory. Obviously, when all esports money is like crypto and whatnot, terrible investments, that it's a little harder. But, at the end of the day, right, like, this is an organization that has more resources to pump into our game. And there's just so many benefits from TSM being here. I really do think that. Timeless might absorb students of the game now that TSM has the former Timeless team. Oh, yeah, they probably could do that too. Timeless is definitely more of an organization. Students of the game, I think, is like the collegiate team, right? But yeah, no, that's kind of like what I'm thinking here about this TSM thing. I know it's not like right now we haven't seen them play and they're not going to be like participating until like stage 3 or whatever, but this is really big. I do want to just keep reiterating just how big this is, because this could be the domino like stepping stone, right? We may get other organizations putting their like saying it with their chest that they want to be involved in Overwatch, and other orgs may follow suit because TSM has finally put their hat in the ring. Only time will tell, but I just wanted to point this out and kind of talk about some of the things that we may not think about why this is such a big thing. So, not typically a regular kind of discussion that I do, but I did think that this was important at the end of the day. So, if you like this content, or anything Overwatch related, I do plenty. Please give it a good like, comment, subscribe. I do really appreciate all that good YouTube stuff. If you want to check out the discussions live, this is twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. I do a discussion every time I go live. All my socials are down below. But thank you for watching. Have a good day.